This is the fourth time I've tried to record this video. It's fine. It's all fine. Hi, readers. Let's talk about the books that I read in the month of May 2025. This is my new foster dog who's sitting here. I don't know how long she's going to be here, but I just wanted you to know this is Coco. She's been with us for a little over a week, and she's just a sweet, sweet thing. She's going to be transporting. I'm not even sure when she's going to be transporting, but she's not sick. She's well behaved. She's getting more adjusted to us. The only challenge we're having with her is that she does not love our cat, and our cat Sheldon does not love her at all. So they have to be separated, and Sheldon stays in his room most of the time. Okay, let's talk about what I read in the month of May. That had really nothing to do with dogs. I had a pretty good reading month. I read 4 books in the month of May, 1,682 pages in total. I usually read 5 to 7 typically, but this month this just didn't happen. Although I did start another book in May, and I just haven't, of course, finished it because it was when I started Big Book Summer. But I am in progress with that and enjoying it very much. Meanwhile, though, it took me about 8 days to finish each book, which is I guess fine, the average anyway. Some of them I finished pretty quickly. So here's what's interesting about it. The moods of these books for this month were mysterious, emotional, sad, which is its own category, and then lighthearted. So there was one of them that was lighthearted, and I know exactly which one that was. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. 67% of the reading that I did this month I considered to be fast. Yes, love, we're all good. It's all fine. And 33% to be slow. But the one that I read slowly was a buddy read that I did. And so we'll talk about that. I think it was best paced for both of us at that point, and it was just what it needed to be. 75% of these books had over 390 or 300 to 499 pages, whereas I read one that was less than 300 pages, but it was not much less than 300 pages, and it was a mass market paperback. So that definitely feels more like 150 pages than 299, but there you go. And all fiction this month, no nonfiction, which hence is why I'm now coming to try to catch up with my Big Bang Theory book, if you saw that video. These were, 2 of them were mystery and historical. One of them was thriller and one of them was crime. So that is really no romance, no fantasy, pretty heavy stuff all through the month, but not unlikable at all. And then in print, I read 75% of these books, which is interesting for me because that usually doesn't happen. And the rest, 25%, was a digital read. I read 1 book digitally, and that was an ARC that I received from NetGalley. And so that's how I was able to consume it. So I really had a physical book in my hand much of the month, and that felt really good. I have to say, no audio, just physical, holding on to it, really enjoying the process. And my average star rating was 4.13. So not too bad. One was a 3-star, one was a 4, one was a 4.5, and one was a 5. So just kind of, yeah, perfect. Yesterday was a little crazy. I'm back. It's a different day, different outfit. Something came up, so I couldn't finish filming. All right, let's talk about the books I read in May for real. We Begin at the End by Chris Whitaker. This was a choice that I made after having read All the Colors of the Dark earlier this year, and I really enjoyed it a lot. And I saw an interview where he talked about this book as well, which kind of was the one for him that made him stand out a little bit more. And then, of course, All the Colors of the Dark just soared into popularity. But I did enjoy this one very, very much. There are a number of characters in this book, and I was sort of struck by the fact that some of them were pretty unlikable. In fact, one of the main characters in this book is somewhat unlikable, but it's about a number of people who've grown up together. They live in this small town. I can't remember the name of the town, but it's in coastal California. And the main character, I guess I would say, in this book is Walk. His name is Walk, like walking down the street. And he's chief of police. And he has, in the past, given some testimony about his friend, who at the time was accused of murder. And his friend went to prison as a result of his testimony. So he's always felt terrible about that. He's not had any communication with his friend all this time while he's been in prison, and then he is released. And so he comes back to this town and Walk, and I think his name was Vincent. Is it Vincent? Yes. 30 years later, Vincent has been released. Now there's a child named Duchess, and she's 13, and her brother's name is not shown here, it just says her brother, I think. But she's the child of a woman named Star. And Star is not an easy person. Star is a drinker. I think she does drugs as well. She sings in a nightclub. She's pretty promiscuous. And I don't think that Duchess and her brother have the same father, but I'm not certain about that. It's been over a month since I read this, but I will say this was my 5-star read. So it's not like I didn't enjoy it. I really did enjoy it a lot. It was, though, very, very sad and tense, but it developed these characters so well. Chris Walker is really good at writing stories that are dark and about really difficult people. But in the end, you discover that you're rooting for Duchess. You want her life to be better. You want her to just be kinder to people. But the progress of what happens in this book, I don't want to say, except that it's a lot. It's heavy. It's difficult. It's beautifully written. I did tab it a number of times. I didn't start tabbing it until, you can tell, until about halfway through. And then I probably should have gone back and looked. But I do think I'm going to read this again because I consumed it pretty quickly. And I also just felt like there were probably some things that I didn't notice as I was reading it. But I really, hands down, think Chris Whitaker is a great author. This is a great new author for me. And while this is not a backlist read, because I'm trying to do that, I just really wanted to get to this faster. And I was grateful because it happened that we were choosing it for a book club for the month of May. So it worked out perfectly. So we bring it in at the end. Chris Whitaker, I highly recommend it. Next, I needed a bit of a palate cleanser, but I also had an arc that I needed to read. So I read The Stolen Life of Colette Marceau, which was written by Kristen Harmel. This was a book that I hadn't had on my radar. I didn't know that it was coming out at all, but it came up on NetGalley, almost said Netflix, and they let me received the arc, and I read it, and I really enjoyed this. This is historical fiction, so also not a backlist for me because it was an arc that I received recently. This is expected to release on June 17th, so this will be coming out very, very soon. And I really liked this one too. I gave this one, there's a giveaway right now if you see this today. I gave this one 4 stars. I was really connected to these characters. This one, though, was also sad and dark. So it's about a family living in Paris in 1940s, and this is right before the Nazis come into Paris and to France and start occupying France. This family, Annabelle, her husband, and her 2 girls are living in their home, but Annabelle is trying to help people, in particular Jews, by supporting them, making sure that they have enough money. And she's really trying to create the sort of Robin Hood experience in her own life. So she steals jewelry in order to support people that need help and support. And meanwhile, she then teaches Colette how to steal jewels as well, pickpocketing essentially. And it's pretty, like the way she describes it in my mind when I was reading it, I thought that's got to be really hard to do for people not to notice that you took a necklace off their neck or something. Like, to me, that was pretty a little far-fetched. Something terrible happens one night in 1942. There's a raid. There are Jews that are captured and taken to different places, and Colette and her mother are in the middle of it. Annabelle tries to fight them for what they're trying to do to her neighbors. In the meanwhile, they take her youngest child, Lillian. Colette hides with her father. Annabelle is arrested, and she doesn't see her mother again, and they find a body in the river, and that they identify as her little sister. So Colette is then sent to another family. Her father completely sort of disconnects from her, and Colette is sent to another family, which then later brings her to the United States. So this one is set in dual timelines. It goes back and forth from the things that happened then. But what the main sort of plot about this is, there starts to be, is that there is a bracelet, a jewel bracelet that was given to Colette and one for her sister Lillian. They had a matching bracelet, and they never knew what happened to that other bracelet. But one day while she's in the U.S., Colette goes to a museum, a new exhibit, and there's the bracelet, the one that matches her. So obviously she's surprised, and she then tries to discover what happened. I really enjoyed it. I do enjoy the dual timelines. I'd never read anything by this author before, and I definitely would do that again. All right, this one was a bit of a disappointment, but I needed a palate cleanser. So I read the second in the Bibliophile mystery series, If Books Could Kill by Kate Carlisle. And I didn't like this one as much as I liked the first one. I almost DNF'd it, to be quite honest, but this one was set, this particular character in book 2, she's also in book 1, obviously. This character ends up going, let me tell you what her name is because I've forgotten. What's her name? Brooklyn Wainwright. She restores old books, and she's very good at it. She's very careful at it. It's difficult to do. It's difficult work. And she's at a conference in Scotland, I think, or Ireland. Let me just see. See, that's how forgettable this has been for me. Edinburgh, at a book conference, or a fair, and she sees some people there that she knows. Some of them she likes, some of them she doesn't. Someone gets murdered while they're out there. She's very connected to that in a way that I won't say because I don't want to spoil it, but she's definitely in the thick of this murder. And so the goal is to try to find out who killed this person, who was a bookish person as well. And she's going to try to help solve the case. I'm sure you're not surprised by any of this. What's interesting is I don't remember a cat being in this at all because they're all sort of gone from their normal homes. But maybe there was a cat and I just don't remember it. But obviously this one did not stick with me. But I'm not suggesting you won't enjoy it. It's a cozy. It's predictable. Yeah. It's okay. So I have another one of these that I purchased, and that's book 3 in this series, and I'll probably read book 3 as well, but not necessarily quickly. And this is a backlist read for me because I've had this for a bit. And then the last one I read was The Postmistress of Paris by Meg Wade Clayton. I did a buddy read with Rosemary, one of my subscribers and friends here on the Bookish Communities, and we had agreed to do this a few months ago and chose to do this in May, and I think it was a really good time to have done it. I really enjoyed this. I've had it for a while. It's been out for a while. I think it came out in November of 2021, so I was really anticipating this and just never got to it. I gave it 4 stars. It has an average rating of 3.75, so I think that's generally where people are landing with this. But I liked this one a lot. I just didn't give it 5 as I have some of her other books. This is about Nene, who is actually from the United States, I think Indiana or somewhere near where I lived. But she ends up in Paris, and when the war starts to invade Paris, so 2 books that I read about this same place, which maybe I was a little fatigued about that, but she has a lot of friends she's met over there. She lives there now as an expatriate. She's involved in the art scene as well, and she's a lovely person, and she has a good deal of money. Her family came from pretty wealthy space, and at the beginning of the book, she meets this artist, and she's really enamored with him, and they're both just kind of like, there's some spark, you know what I mean? She's gone to see his work, and there's just this like connection for both of them. And he has a young girl as a daughter as well. I think she's 3 or 4 years old when this book begins. And so he's really lonely because his wife died and he's taking care of this child by himself. And Nene is just attracted to him from the start. What happens next is, of course, a series of issues that occur because there is a war and there are Germans coming in and invading Paris, and they are arresting people for various reasons. And so this man, whose name is it Edmund? Edward. Edward is arrested. The child is taken in by another family. Nene has a number of people, friends of hers, all sort of artists and eclectic folks that live in this apartment, and they're all trying to do what they can for people that they know and love, including Edward. But Nene is also trying to make sure that people are safe and that they're cared for, and so she begins to craft a way to try to support people without being caught. And so this whole book really is about all of them surviving this experience that's happening for them, about Edouard living in this prison camp and about his younger daughter. The story as it unfolds with Nene and the daughter and some of the other people that she's connected to really is, like I really enjoyed that. I think I wanted more of Edouard. I wanted more of what was happening for him, but I wanted more of I don't know, I don't know what it was I really wanted more of. I guess I just wanted more movement. But it does paint the picture of how people had to try to untangle themselves from this, and the lengths that they would go to, including Nene, to support people, to help people. They put their lives in danger. They did things that they didn't want to do. It was really dark and also tense, but well done. And I really enjoyed this. And she has another book coming. No, it didn't. It's not coming out. It just came out not long ago. And I would like to get that one as well. Obviously, this was a book of the month, so this counts for my book of the month read in the month of May, but it also is an author that I've followed for a long period of time. So she recently wrote, let me just tell you because I'm not going to say it right, Typewriter Beach. She started out writing historical fiction, but it was more recent in time period, and now she's gone back into the World War II era pretty much. But actually, Typewriter Beach is set in Hollywood at Carmel by the Sea. And it's a story of friends, and it's a story of screenwriters and actresses and people who are in a very, very different place. But I don't know what year it's set in. It is definitely historical fiction. So it's back in the maybe 50s, I think, 60s perhaps. But I would like to get to Typewriter Beach as well. But this one was a backlist for me, a book of the month, check, check, and an author that I really love. So that was the extent of my reading in the month of May. You can see, though, that it was really, really good. I enjoyed, each of these for a different reason, some of them more than others, but it was really it was a nicely paced month of reading for me. And I got an arc done. I do have an arc I need to get to before July as well. And I didn't even think about that when I did my TBR the other day, which is probably good because I would have been slightly even more overwhelmed, but I'll get to it. I have Elisa Scottolini and I have another one as well. I'm going to be reading a lot. But I'm going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. I'm feeling less overwhelmed now. Our last graduation event is behind us. I have a conference, but I'm going to be able to join it virtually, so that's good. I will not have to leave my house and drive to the city again, which is sometimes, it takes a little while and it's a little stressful at times. But yes, I'm feeling like things are starting to get a little bit easier, even though I'm also dog sitting for my granddogs and my grand chickens, but that's okay. Everything's going to be fine. Everything is fine. I'm having a lovely time and I'm reading a really great book. So life is good. I hope you're also reading a really great book. Let me know if you read any of these as well. And if you did, what you thought of them. If you plan to buy The Stolen Life of Colette Marceau, let me know that as well. I would love to hear your thoughts about any and all of these or these authors and other instances that you may have read. And as always, happy reading. Bye.